Ruprell confessed on her Passion and Perseverance book that at one time she felt that she couldn't offer anything to anyone. On this interview second part, we are going to know how the Faith into Actions book changed her life overnight. Welcome to the Immigrants Magazine program. I am Fabiola Palomino, your host.
Faith into Action is a book. It's a book by Dr. Daisaku Ikeda, who's the third president of the Soka Gakkai International, of which I am a part, and that's where I practice Buddhism. It's a book of quotes, right? So it's a book where you have quotes on determination, you have quotes on success, you have quotes on career, quotes on every possible thing that I could have needed. So on attitude, gratitude, and I would read that to encourage myself, to motivate myself. And of course, while one has faith, so I have faith I practice Buddhism, so that's my faith. But when we are unable to use our faith to propel our lives forward, how valuable is that faith? The purpose of our faith is to help us to transform our lives in a positive way, to move ahead. And that's what Faith into Action means to me. So I would read that book and encourage myself based on where I was in that particular day and how I was feeling. And I would read snippets and hold on to them and keep repeating them and encouraging myself. Right. So my first book was actually a memoir called Journey in Faith. And my only desire with writing that book was to say thank you. I'd been in Canada, I think, 3 years. So we had moved in 2006, 2009. I wanted to write that book. And I was feeling very, very grateful for everything that I had experienced in life. And Buddhism played a big role in helping me to propel my life forward. So I just wanted to say thank you. So I decided to write my memoir and share my experiences in the form of a book. After I'd written that book, and I self-published it, I created a website and I would just blog things that I have learned that I wanted to share with everybody else. I thought if I was encouraged by reading a particular passage, maybe I could encourage somebody else, because there are so many of us going through different challenges, and that was my only intent. But after I'd been blogging for several years and I found many people getting onto my blog, communicating with me, contacting me, I felt encouraged. What's the fun of writing if nobody is communicating with you, right? The two-way process was very, very encouraging for me. As much as I was encouraging others, I was being encouraged. So I decided to put all my blogs together into a book titled Passion, Perseverance, and Prayer, which is essentially a daily guide. And it speaks about different attitudes. I call it my manual for happiness, right? So I've just recorded different attitudes that help us to lead a happier life. So I published my book in India. It's not on the bookshelves in Canada. It's available via Amazon.com in paperback and the Kindle version. It's available on Amazon.ca, currently only in the Kindle version, though they are trying to get it in the paperback version. And anybody who wants to reach me can also contact me through my website, and I could help them get it. It's www.poojaruprell.com.
Thank you so much.
So the cover of the book, Journey in Faith, it's got a black horse with a fly on its tail. And it's taken from a Buddhist verse, which says, a blue fly, if it clings to the tail of a thoroughbred horse, can travel 1,000 miles afar. And I don't remember, I'm not quoting it verbatim, but that's what it talks about. So in my case, the horse was Buddhism, and I am the blue fly. So by holding on to this faith, I was able to travel much further than I would have on my own steam. So I used the philosophy that I was practicing to transform my life. And that's what the black horse is. So Buddhism is not I wouldn't call it my religion. I'm a Hindu by birth, and I'm going to be a Hindu till the day I die. I practice Buddhism more as a way of life. I connect to the philosophy. I find it logical. It makes sense to me. I relate to the concepts that Buddhism talks about, right? And that's the reason I practice it. and I don't practice it as a religion. For me, it's not separate from my daily life. So if Buddhism talks about an attitude, for example, start your day with gratitude, end your day with gratitude, I want to imbibe that concept in my daily life. It's not something that when I go for a Buddhist meeting, I feel grateful, I'm happy, I'm smiling, I move away from the Buddhist meeting and I'm back to being cranky and rude to everybody and unappreciative, right? What resonates with me about Buddhism is the fact that I can apply it to my daily life. It gives me material, it gives me opportunity to interact with other people so that I can consistently stay in the orbit of Buddhism. And it's not something in isolation. You attend one meeting a month, or you go every Sunday and then you pray and then you forget about it. That's not what it is to me. It is a life-transforming philosophy. So some people do yoga, right? To some people, if they run on the treadmill, that helps them to feel better about life. You know, they let their anger go, they let their negativity go. For them, that is what they do to feel stronger, wiser, and happier, right? Some people they just want to read. Some people want to chant Om. Some people want to go to the temple. Some people want to go to church, right? Whatever it is that helps you to be stronger, wiser, and live a better life. So Buddhism speaks about 3 pillars, which is faith, practice, and study. So faith, you have to have faith. You go to a doctor and you're sick. If you don't have faith in the doctor, he could be the best doctor in the medical field, but you won't get cured, right? Because in your mind, you've decided that his medicine is not going to work for you. So faith is critical. So I came into Buddhism with that feeling that I've got to try it. I've got to give it my best shot to see if it works for me. And then there's practice for oneself and practice for others. So I practice for myself. I practice because I want to live a happy life. That's the reason I practice, right? But then there's also the other aspect of practicing for others. So as much as it's important to me that I'm happy myself, I want to see others around me happy as well. How much fun is it to be happy in isolation, right? I want my family to be happy. I want my friends to be happy. So you practice for oneself and practice for others. And then the third component is study. So we read about it to understand how to apply the concepts in our life. Like I said, so it's not something you go for every Sunday. You sit there, you pray, and you come back. No, that's not what it is. It talks about many, many different attitudes we need to have to live a happy life. So for example, it talks about a concept called oneness of self and environment, right? So we are a product. We influence our environment as much as our environment influences us. So when I remember that concept, and I'm in a situation sometimes where I'm having a negative conversation with somebody, I realize that I am contributing to that negative conversation. There's some energy, some vibes that I am also contributing. So the moment I shift, the environment around me will change, right? So there are many, many such concepts that Buddhism talks about, and reading them over and over again helps me to apply them in my life. Just reading them once sometimes doesn't help. Everything that we do comes back to us, right? Whether it may not come back today, it may not come back tomorrow, but I believe in the eternity of life, right? So the law of cause and effect is always at work in every single life on the planet. So if I do good to somebody, if I'm kind, I'm going to get that kindness back. It may not come back directly to me. It may come back to my children. It may come back to somebody I love. So if I am being kind to my friend's daughter, for example, when my kids need it, my son has gone to university and he needs kindness, somebody else's mom is going to be kind to him. And to me, it's come back to me because somebody being kind to my son and helping him makes me happy, right? Mm-hmm. So to start with my life here, I'm filled with gratitude. I feel blessed, very, very blessed to be in this part of the world. It's a beautiful country. It's filled with abundance, right? From where I come and where I grew up, I lacked that, right? So this is 360 degrees different from where I was in my life. So I feel very, very grateful to be part of it. And for anybody who's new, there was one piece of advice that I received when I came here. I remember speaking to a very, very old, wise friend of mine, and he said to me that whenever you do something new, whenever you start something new or you move to a new place, you've got to give it 1 year.